Thank you so much for joining me. We are now getting into lesson five, which is the start of actually going through the mitzvot according to the count and the reckoning of Rambam. And so today we're going to do two positive commandments and one negative commandment. We're going to learn positive commandment number one, negative commandment number one, and positive commandment number two. The reason why we're going through them in the order that we do in these lessons will be actually so that we're tracking along with the same mitzvahs that are being covered in the daily Mishnah Torah studies that happen. So uh, there's a common study to go through 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah. And so the Sefer HaMitzvos classes will be following kind of along those as well. So today we're learning. We're going to start out with positive commandment number one, and positive commandment number one. We are required to acquire knowledge of the nature of God. If you're reading a Hebrew Sefer HaMitzvahs, know this, that Rambam did not write Sefer HaMitzvahs in Hebrew. He wrote them in Arabic because that was the language of the where he was at. And then he wrote Mishnah Torah in Hebrew. So it's I've heard a rabbi say that this was Rabbi Shais Taub said that it's possible that Sefer HaMitzvahs, the digest here, was written in Arabic so that anybody could understand it. You didn't have to be a scholar. Whereas Mishnah Torah, you're going to be a little bit more learned, and you're gonna be able to get in a little deeper with the language. Well, I bring all that up just to say that the Hebrew version of Sefer HaMitzvahs is actually a translation from the Arabic. And if you look in the Hebrew, it will say positive number mitzvah number one is to believe in God. But it actually goes a lot deeper than that. It's not actually just to believe in God. In the Arabic, it actually says that you must be bound up with God. Um, and if you look over in Mishnah Torah, the Hebrew that he's using is actually is actually that you hear this sometimes but it's true, the knowledge that we're required to acquire regarding God is actually that intimate knowledge, to like just like Adam knew Eve. So we're supposed to bind ourselves up with Hashem through through learning about him, and learning about his nature, and just constantly learning about Hashem. Um, that mitzvah is the positive mitzvah number one, comes from Exodus 20, verse 2, where it says, I am the Lord your God. So we have to believe in God or know God right off the bat. Before we can even get to any of the other mitzvahs, it's kind of a prerequisite that we have to know Hashem. And the second mitzvah also comes from that same section. This is the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai, the 10 Commandments. And Jewish tradition says that these first two commandments, that first positive commandment and then the next commandment, the negative commandment number one, came from the mouth of Hashem, so to speak, directly, and not from Moshe. Later, Moshe passed on what he learned from Hashem because the people said, we can't take it. You go to Hashem. You hear from him. You bring back what he has to say, and then we'll do that. Um, so the second mitzvah is the prohibition against ascribing godly power to any other entity than God. So that could be restated as we're not to entertain the thought that there's any other deity than God, and that makes sense. If there's another God, then he's not really God. God kind of there's no room for another. If he's the supreme deity, there's no room for another supreme deity. So that actually is Exodus 20, verse 3. You shall have no other gods beside me. All right. And positive commandment number 2. It says, we're commanded to believe and acknowledge that the one who provides existence to all of creation is one. So what the commandment is that we have to know that Hashem is one, the unity of Hashem. Where does that come from? That comes from Deuteronomy 6, verse 4, where it says, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And so that mitzvah isn't just saying that there's one God in like a numerical way, as in here's one, here's two. What we're saying is that he is one. That's all there is. The Torah says, Einod milvado. There's no one else. There's nothing else. So we need to believe and know that God is the only true existence, which is a really big thought. And we could go through whole classes of course, on each one of these and get really in depth and spend maybe a full year on each one of these mitzvahs. But that's the idea that God is the one true existence, not only the one deity, but he's all there is. So those are the first 3 mitzvahs, and we will continue on tomorrow with 3 more mitzvahs. Tomorrow we'll be learning positive commandment number 3, positive commandment number 4, and positive commandment number 9. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Have a great day in every way. Be blessed. Bye-bye.